Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living.
Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I don't know if you're like me, some days recently you just feel tired. You just feel like at any point in the day you could take a break and sleep for about 3 days. You just kind of worn down. Too many things going on. Too much going on in the world around you, and it's just hard. You may not feel like you have the resources that are required to do everything that's being placed on your shoulders and asked of you. So I've got a suggestion today that I found over the past couple of days that has really helped me. And it came about because I'm actually doing a round table facilitator training, just where people get together and talk about their values. And in this training, we were talking about listening. And we were rating ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a job we thought we did at listening. And excuse me, I thought I did pretty good, but I thought, well, I could do better. And as we thought about it a little bit, I thought, well, it's not my intention that needs to improve. My intention to listen, to understand, to care for people, that's good. I thought the thing that could improve is that often I show up tired. I show up exhausted. My mind is still racing on the last 7 things I did in a row, and I'm still reeling from those, and it makes me not as present as I would like to be. What it does is it also makes me impatient. It makes me not as willing to really take my time and think about what another person is saying or what might be the best decision or option of if we have to make a decision. And what it makes me want to do is simply get rid of the conversation. I want to check it off my list. I want to be done with that, because what I really want is rest. It's not that I don't care. It's not that I don't care about the person. I might love them very deeply. What it is that I really want to get to to a place of a break, of a rest, where I can kind of reset. So that's kind of what came to my mind. I'm like, yeah, it's not that I need to try harder to be a good listener. I need to be in a better space to listen. And I also have to realize, hey, every conversation may not be for me, right? I'm not obligated to be part of every single conversation. And that's very helpful too. Picking and choosing our battles, as they say. We have to pick and choose those. But what I decided to do, they had an action step for it. So what's your action step going to be? And usually it's something small. Just pick something small that you're likely to succeed at. And so I thought, well, what I'll do is, instead of just rushing from one thing to the next, I will take a small break, just a few minutes, just to be still in a quiet place by myself, or go outside and take a walk. Just do something. Be somewhere that I like to be, and just be still. So after I finished that call, instead of just immediately running down, telling my wife what had happened, hearing what she had been doing, not really being fully present, racing on to the next thing because I still had several things to do, I decided just to take a minute and just sit and think. And what I realized is, wow, my mind is racing about what is the next thing I should do. I'm completely distracted by it. I would not be worthless for a conversation right now. I wouldn't be present at all. So I sat there for a few minutes. I thought about the things. I thought through, well, is there anything I really need to do? I took a few minutes to pray about it. Well, is there anything that I really do need to concentrate on now? I had a couple more things that I needed to do. I read a few pages in a book. Didn't take long. But over those few minutes and those activities, I felt settled. When I first started, it felt like a stormy sea with just waves tossing. Those were my thoughts. They were just tossing up, and all of these concerns on my mind. And at the end, it was like it had settled. There was like a peace over it, and I felt much more settled over just a few minutes. And then when I went downstairs and I asked my wife how she's doing, what she had been doing, I was asking from a much more settled place. And I was surprised how settled I could feel with that small amount of time, how much difference it really made. So I would really, really recommend to you. I went to the group today and the training, and I told them, I said, hey, this was so good. I had such good results. I'm going to do a podcast on it today. So, and we got a laugh out of that. But boy, it's really worth doing. And I would really recommend to you that you would take a mental minute. Take a mental minute. Don't always be, in fifth gear, with all 8 cylinders firing in the red zone, because we tend to run that way and we don't have to. It's a choice. It may not seem like a choice, but it is a choice, and we can all learn to do that. And so I recommend that you start small, start with an action step that you'll do. Take 1 minute in between events. I have a friend, and she taught me that before you leave the house to go drive somewhere, just take a minute. Just before you go out the door, just sit down for a minute and just be still for a minute. It'll settle you. You'll get in the car in a much better place. You'll probably make better decisions driving. You won't feel as frazzled, as stressed, as intense, which I see a lot of on the roads now. So it'll help. And whether you go outside and sit in the sunshine, sometimes we take our shoes off and put our feet on the ground, do a little grounding, or sit in your study, or take a walk, or just do something that's not another task or another responsibility. Just take a minute for yourself. Take a mental minute. And there's a few benefits from this practice that I want to give you here. And number one, it resets you. It's like pushing a reset button. What I've discovered is that when I'm tired, if I don't take a break, everything I do tired, wanting a break, right? But if I take that break, okay, and then I come back at it, I come back not being tired, not needing the break. So take the break, because it will reset you. You will go into that next activity better off than you would have otherwise, and more ready for it, and more present and willing to be there. So number one, it resets you. Number two, like I already mentioned, it makes us a better listener. It will make you a better listener. If you show up to a meeting or to a conversation with a whole lot of things on your mind, just in a flurry, in a rush, you're not going to be in a place to really take anything new in. You have to get some stuff off your plate before you can put more on your plate. Somebody told me years ago, yeah, it's a good idea to drain the radiator before you try to refill it, right? It works a lot better that way. So get some of the clutter out of your mind before you put anything new in your mind. Sort that stuff. Put it in the right place. Put it in the right file. Get your plan together. Get organized. Get settled. Take some deep breaths, and then go to the next thing. And if it involves communication, it'll make you a better listener. The next thing is it breaks up the day with times of quiet refreshing. It doesn't feel like, oh my goodness, I'm just going through a long slog, all day long. It's just one high energy output. It breaks up the day. It gives you something to look forward to. Hey, I'm going to take this little break here in a few minutes, or hey, I'm going to lunch and I'm just going to sit alone under a tree and eat my lunch, or whatever. But try to make it where you don't have a lot of activity and a lot of new input, where you can kind of sort what's already going there, rather than just turning on the TV or something else and having a lot of new input. Give yourself some quiet time. The next thing is it separates the events. Instead of, again, one long event through the day, it feels like it's just one long event if you just go. It goes, okay, I'm going to do this, then I'm going to take a break. I'm going to recharge, reset, then I'm going to go to the next thing. Then I'm going to go to the next thing. Then eventually my day is going to be done. I'll recharge that evening, get some rest, get a good night's sleep. Then I'll come back at it again tomorrow. I've got my notes here, make a list of what you got to do the next day, and then you're mentally organized, and then you can relax. And the last thing is it makes us more productive. I just fully believe that someone who takes breaks is more productive than someone who never takes a break. If you just go and go and go and go, you're going to wear out. We are made, as much as we don't like to admit it, we are made for rest. We are made to recharge. That's why we have day and night. That's why we sleep every day. And if you don't get that rest, if your mind doesn't get that rest, you'll have a problem. I've heard that in sleep studies, when they woke people up every time that they realized they were going into a deep sleep, into a REM sleep and a dream sleep, when they woke them up every time, it didn't take long before they ended up in psychosis, because their mind needed to reset, to recharge, to go where it wants to go for whatever reason. And it needs that, and we need that. We're not Superman. We're not superhuman. We're real people. We have real needs. We have to eat every day. We have to sleep every day. We have to get rest. We're not made to be these superheroes that sometimes we act like we think we are. So we're real people, and we need to treat ourselves and treat each other that way. So that is what I think about taking a mental minute. I would love to hear what you think, or anything that you do that recharges you. How do you reset? How do you break the day up so it's not such a long slog, just one big event, a high energy event at that. So please, I would love to have you send me something. I'm Jeff. My email is jeff@jeffbyrdcoaching.com. jeff@jeffbyrdcoaching.com. Please shoot over any ideas. I may bring them up in another podcast and shoot them out for other people so we can all learn from and benefit each other. It's nice to have a team of people all working on the same things, because none of us are as smart as all of us. So thanks so much. I appreciate you tuning in. I hope that this has been a nice little break in your day. But now I hope you have some quiet, good space to yourself, and that you take a mental minute. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Until next time, God bless you.